What up, what up, what up, what up, y'all? It is your host that does the most spiritual, intellectual 777 here once again, coming at you guys from the house of greatness. So in today's video, what I'm going to be talking about is the whole love requires self-sacrifice paradigm, and that is just totally BS. So what inspired me to really speak on this topic was because, I watched this video by Teal Swan, and I think the name of the video was around love, but I forgot the name of it. But I'm gonna leave a screenshot somewhere on the screen so that you can see what the video looks like, and that you can go check out the video in the description below. So she said something in the video that really caught my attention and that inspired me to make this video. And it was some like how, she talked about zero sum games basically. And I thought about it, and she was using that and something else to talk about how love requires self-sacrifice is BS. And then the more I thought about it, the more it made sense to me. And I want to expand on zero-sum games as, this video is recording. So, you know how us human beings, we love to, most of us have a fear of confrontation, right? And so because of that, we're afraid to express what it is that we truly want, right? We become so afraid because we have this fear of rejection and confrontation. So what we do is that we inadvertently put people in a position to play zero-sum games with us when they never even wanted, when they never even wanted to in the first place. And so let's say, for example, that, one of your needs is that you... Like, let's say you have a need for, one of your love languages is touch, right? And words of affirmation. If you don't express that to your partner, well, then they're not going to know that that's your love language, and that's how how you want your partner to express their love to you. So instead, what you start doing is that you start like subconsciously playing these manipulation games with them to get them to do what you want, to get them to do what you want them to do. And then when they don't do it, you start blowing up in their face and getting triggered. And then your partner is just sitting there like, what? Like, where's this coming from? Like, I really don't understand. And then your partner is just sitting there all dumbfounded. And now it's causing resentfulness in your partner, and now both of y'all are bickering. All because you didn't do the one simple thing. You wasn't straight up with them about what you wanted and needed from the start. Right? And speaking of which, the topic about love requires self-sacrifice. Damn, I can't talk today. Love requires self-sacrifice is, we grew up in a society, like, I'm gonna just speak on America because I don't know how other cultures are. You feel free to talk about your culture in the comment section below if you're watching this in a different country. Is that, we put family first, and to put the needs of others above your own. Even though the United States is considered an individualistic country, it's really not. I mean, if you really live in the US, you can see this dynamic everywhere where they constantly talking about love requires sacrifice, basically meaning you have to sacrifice your own needs for your partner or for your friend. But, the reality is that everybody's looking out for themselves. You may have taken that programming to the T and thought all along that it was virtuous to sacrifice your needs and wants for some other person, and then they don't do the same for you. you're going to start painting them as the villain in your story by saying like, man, they're pieces of shit. Like, they're fake as fuck. Like, I don't understand why they're doing all of this. Like, what the fuck? I'll never get in a relationship again. You know, people are snakes in the grass and blah, 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 blah. When in actuality, what you should have done on your end was be straight up with, you know, your potential friend or partner from the start about what you wanted and needed. Like, that is the solution to prevent all of this madness from going on. And if they happen to walk away because they do not want to, you know, honor your needs and wants and your boundaries, then so fucking be it. Let them go. Let them go their merry way. That just means that they weren't compatible with you from the start. But what most people do is that they sacrifice their wants and their needs and they suppress it and just bury it down so low that they just settle for a mediocre relationship that they later on just are sitting around like, oh my gosh, like this relationship is so boring. You know, I don't even know why I got into a relationship with this person. And then you hold all of these feelings and emotions in, all for it to just explode all at once, leading to a scenario that I just discussed a few minutes ago. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to really, really be cognizant of what it is that we want and need and what our boundaries are. So what I want you to do real quick, you know, while this video is going, is to pause the video real quick and then compile a list on what your needs and wants are and what are your boundaries. You know, you can write this in a notes app on your phone, or you can use a good old-fashioned pen and paper. However you want to do it is your business, but make sure to do this exercise of writing down exactly what it is your needs and wants are, what your boundaries are, and what you require from a friend or a potential, a friend, a romantic partner, or a business partner. Trust me, taking the time to do this is going to really save your ass in the long run and really get you, like, it's really going to force you to become aware of what it is that you want and where your standards currently are. Because if you don't have high standards, then you're going to attract people who don't either. And then on top of that, they're going to not honor what it is that you need, your needs and wants and your boundaries are. And then you're going to be sitting around just feeling resentful and angry at the world because your needs have gone unmet. And you're going to be complaining about unrequited love. So just really, really be aware of what it is that you want and need from somebody. You know, and I know there's going to be a lot of people saying like, man, you know, I don't feel like doing all that. Why we got to do all this work? Well, that's on you. If you're not willing to acknowledge, you know, to go inside of yourself and acknowledge what you want and need and what your boundaries are, then you can't complain to me or anybody else for that matter, because you didn't take the time to discover what it is you want and to develop that high level sense of self-awareness. Right? And so I'm going to give you an example of how I was putting people in zero-sum games, right? So, you know, me being an extrovert, I love making friends and I love talking to people. And because, you know, the family that I grew up in, you know, I didn't feel confident enough to be my authentic self and express what I wanted and needed because I got shunned for that. And so subconsciously, I just started shutting myself off and I became introverted in a sense. And not talking and not, you know, honoring what it is that I want and needed. So I would get into these friendships and these romantic relationships, right? And then, you know, I would just start talking my head off and I would just start agreeing with them just to agree with them because I didn't want to rock the boat, so to speak. And so I would just go these long periods of time of, you know, not expressing what I want. And when they didn't honor what it is that I need and wanted, because I was living under the paradigm that love requires self-sacrifice, then I will blow up at them and get angry at them for not meeting my needs and wants, when in fact I didn't even make it clear in the first place. And because of that, I started started making a lot of posts about fake ass friends and how these girls ain't loyal and all this other bullshit, and just painting them as the villain in my own story, when in actuality I was at fault for not expressing what it is that I wanted and needed and what my standards were, because I didn't have any. And so I would just go around just being stuck in a cycle of attracting dysfunctional relationships over and over and over again, all because I wasn't crystal clear on what it is that I wanted and needed and what my standards were from a relationship. So I'm saying this to say that you have to take responsibility for the type of relationship that you have with yourself and the type of relationships that you're attracting in your day-to-day reality. Because the relationships that you attract in your day-to-day reality is a reflection of the relationship that you have within yourself. So you can't really blame the other person for the dysfunction that's in your life, right? Now, it would be a whole different story if you was straight up with, your friend, your romantic partner or whatever, about what it is you wanted and needed and what your standards were and your boundaries that you don't want to be crossed. And then they just go ahead and just dishonor the hell out of that. Then in that case, you have the validation to say, like, all the other stuff that I said, although it wouldn't do you really any good to do that shit anyways, I would just say, look, I've already told you what my wants and needs and my boundaries are, and you chose to dishonor them. So I'm just going to leave. Or you could just be like me and just leave without warning. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can try that approach as well. And that person, will get the message. So don't just say that you're going to leave that person. Actually do it and mean it. And what that's going to do is it's going to force them to really look at themselves and see what it is that they truly want from a relationship and what behaviors they were exhibiting that was out of alignment with you. And so, yeah, that works every freaking time. You got to try that out. And, and another thing that I want to touch on in this video about love requires self-sacrifice is about, family and friend relationship dynamics. Even though I technically covered friend relationship dynamics, I really want to go into depth into this aspect of it. So, you grow up in a family, right, that tells you, that, hey, here's what we want from you. We want you to go to school and get your degree. We want you to get a good job that pays, a good amount of money, preferably a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, or whatever. And we want you to get married, to have some kids, to have a nice house with a picket fence outside. And, you get a job and with good benefits. And I think I probably mentioned job, but in that case, I'm going to just, say it again. If I repeat myself, I'm sorry. But yeah. And slave your life away at a job that you really don't fucking like for 40 years just to retire with nickels and dimes. I don't know about you, but I'm not down with living like that. Because I know that I was, meant to do more than just work a rinky-dink 9-to-5 job. I was meant to do big things, My talents and my gifts have led me to entrepreneurship. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, even though I'm working a job right now, I'm just glad that it's temporary and that it's going in August. And I don't think I'm going to be getting a regular job after this. I'm just going to focus all my energies on building this YouTube channel, my podcast, and my businesses, and even, my films. You know what I'm saying? Because I am because I know that I would just be settling for less if I just got a regular job. But anyways, back to what I was saying. You grow up in a family that wants you to live this cookie cutter lifestyle, right? And then you express your needs, and what you want to do. Like your parents ask you, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you say, I'm just say this for example purposes. I'm not saying that you, the person that's watching this, wants to do this, but let's just say you say, oh, I want to be an astronaut, right? And then your parents will tell you like, oh, well, you know how long that's going to take, right? Well, what we want you to do is we want you to go to college and be an engineer. How about that? How about you be an engineer like your old man, right? Or they want you to run the family business. Like, let's say the family business is in, like, a graveyard business, right? And your dad and your mom tells you like, son, you need to get into the family business, after your dad dies. Or if he just gets bored with the company, he wants to hand it down to you. And you're just sitting there like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. While on the inside, you're just like, hell no, I don't want to do this. But you settle for it anyways because you don't want to disappoint mom and dad. And so you grow up, let's say the daddy died and then they just handed over the business to you. And you're just going in there sitting, feeling all miserable. And like, oh boy, why, I don't want to do this. And then the day-to-day operations is just slowly but surely killing your soul because you don't want to be there and that job is out of alignment with you. But you settle for it because you didn't want to disappoint, your mama and your daddy and your other family members, right? And so that it's just the sad thing is that's how most people live, is that they sacrifice, everything that they want and need just for the sake of pleasing other people, right? But, let's just say you choose option B. Even though I didn't even mention option A, let's just say what I just said is option A, okay? For example, for purposes, just stay with me here. So, let's say option B, you really stand your ground. You're like, no, like I'm going to pursue what I want to pursue. And yes, it's going to cause some friction between you and your parents and your other family members, but you're staying true to yourself. You're going to feel good in the end because now you're doing what you love to do. Because like, let's say that you do pursue your career of being an astronaut and you're just having so much fun. You're having a blast. You're coming home all happy. You're getting paid handsomely. You're in a relationship that you love. And you're driving what you want to drive. You just basically balling out in all aspects of your life. And that happens because you have stayed true to yourself and you were straight up with what you wanted and needed and what your standards were. And you didn't back down from nobody, right? You didn't back down from mommy or daddy or your girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever else is trying to doubt you, right? And so let's move on to an example of, your friend, right? Let's say that you've been hanging out with your same friends since kindergarten, right? And you start telling them about your dreams later on in adulthood. Like, yo, like I'm thinking about becoming a photographer. And then they just sitting there looking at you like, how you gonna do that? Or you tell them you want to make a podcast, and they tell you like, how the hell you gonna make money with that, dude? And then, let's say that you don't have that really good of defense and you just say like, well, it's what I'm passionate about. And, there's other photographers and podcasters that make millions doing this. And they say, well, you're not one of them, dude, you're going to be, and they going to start asking you, dude, do you want to be poor as fuck for the rest of your life? Why do they ask that, you ask? Is because there's been this certain perception that has been put out there about artists being starving and that they are constantly poor, when in actuality that's false, because there's a lot of artists out there from all different mediums who make millions of dollars, or at least a real solid sustainable living from what they do, right? And so their friends tell them that, and like I said, option A, they start settling for a regular job just so they don't want to outshine their friends, right? Because, their friends may be working, shitty jobs that they don't like, and they don't have that courage and that inspiration to go after their own dreams. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to pull you down and keep you down with them, just like your family members, because your friends and family members, are scared shitless of you achieving your dreams, because you achieving your dreams represents where they failed and given up, and they've chosen to settle. And so they're going to try to inflict their fears upon you and cripple you, right? And I have a post that relates to this on my Instagram, and a screenshot of this is on the screen somewhere. And a link to that Instagram post is in the description for you to go read. Make sure you give your boy a follow on Instagram. But anyways, back to the story. It's just like a lot of people deal with unsupportive family members and friends, and because of that paradigm that we live in, 99.9% of people are going to settle and just get a job, that their family and friends want them to get, because they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to seem too different. They don't want confrontation. So they're just like, okay, I'm just going to put up with this job, even though I don't like this shit. I'm just going to do it because, I am loyal to my friends and family. And there's a downside to that, which I just discussed. That's a recipe for an unfulfilled life. But, in order to live a life that you're proud of and that's fulfilling, you have to be willing to go against the grain, and you have to be willing to not only express what you want, need, and what your standards are, but to actually stand your ground and mean what you say. Because at the end of the day, this is your life is your life. They can't live your life for you. Only you can live your life for you. And I'm going to say this one last thing before I close, is to remind you, do not settle. You hear me? Settling doesn't get you anywhere but misery land. Okay? So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, a comment, make sure to subscribe, and hit that bell right next to it. If you're brand new to this channel, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell right next to it so you get notified every single Friday that I upload videos on this channel. And if you're wondering what mic that I'm using, the link to that is in the description below for you to go buy so that you can record podcast episodes, or at least better audio when you're recording from your laptop's webcam. I may get me an external webcam. I don't know, because the videos does look pretty good. I might upgrade. I don't know. I'll think about it. But anyways, guys, peace in and out with the highest vibes, and have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Peace. Hey, are you looking for someone to shoot your videos, photos, films, and make your demo reel blow the socks off your clients? You come to the right place. At 8 Mil Productions, I offer the following services: shooting commercial videos, music videos, or videos in general not related to film. My rate for these services are $100 for 30-second videos, and the price goes up and varies from there for longer videos. For photography, I offer individual portraits and headshots for $40 a photo, and group portraits for $60 a photo. For film shoots, my rate is $150 per shooting day. And last but not least, I edit demo reels for cinematographers, directors, and actors for $100. If you want to book me for the following services, email me at 8milproductions@gmail.com. I am looking forward to working with you.